Now, what we have discussed was availment of credit. Availment of credit. Now we are trying to understand your utilization of credit. Utilization of credit. Again here, there is a summary of availment which is given, which is a basic thing. If the supply is intrastate supply, if the supply is intrastate supply, supplier will charge GST, SGST, if at all compensation is that will be charged and recipient will get the credit of the same. If the supply is interstate supply, supplier will charge IGST plus compensation cess, you get the credit. If I tell that it is import of goods, there will be basically basic custom duty plus social welfare surcharge plus IGST. But in reality, it may be basic customs duty plus social welfare surcharge, the credit of which I will not get, IGST and compensation cess, the credit of which I will get. There may be even special import duty. See, normal import duty is BCD plus SWS plus IGST. So whenever I tell IGST, compensation cess always will be together. So BCD plus SWS plus IGST and compensation cess. BCD, SWS, no credit, IGST and compensation cess, you can take the credit. But there may be even special import duties. That credit also you will not get. So that you need to understand. This is all about summary of availment that will be there. Now utilization of credit is discussed in your section 49, read along with 49A, read along with 49B, read along with rule 88A. So whatever is the summary chart given here, it is combination of all. I'll make it more simple. Utilization comes at the time of payment. Utilization is nothing but you are using the credit for paying the output tax. Now understand that first credit that you should touch is IGST. First credit that you should touch is IGST. Then CGST. Then SGST. IGST, CGST, SGST. Right, you can take IGST as your mom, your CGST, and your wife is SGST. Rather, a student gave a better example. One of the classes he said that it can be made more better. IGST can be taken as one guy who is having two wives. IGST, CGST, and SGST. Let us go with the basic example. Normal real life example. Mom, son, and son's wife. So first we are talking about, rather, IGST is the connecting point. IGST is the husband or son, and CGST is the mom, SGST is the wife. The connecting point between mom and wife is always that person. So we are talking about that person being IGST. Husband of wife and son of mother is IGST, CGST is mother, and SGST is wife. So first it will be that person, that particular person, IGST credit. When he is having some amount, he will use it for himself first. Right? The son of mom's love is unconditional, but not son's love. Mom's love is unconditional, but not son's love. So that person will use first the amount. Supposing he is having 1 lakh in his hand. Assume that that guy is your elder brother. He is having 1 lakh in his hand. First he will use it for himself, then he will give to whom? Mom or wife. He will not enter into that trouble. Tell that balance amount, I have 1 lakh, I required 40,000, I took it, balance 60,000. It is that you take in any ratio, any proportion. He will not take the headache of giving to the mom or giving to the wife. There is a balance amount which is 60,000. Which you decide. Who comes first, take first. You decide. Any ratio, any proportion. Any ratio, if he is giving to his mom, trouble from wife, giving to wife, trouble from mom. Actually, when GST law came, first it was giving to mom. Then government also understand that poor fellow will have a problem. So then government said that Government said that, okay, you have IGST credit. IGST credit is that poor fellow. First, he'll use it for himself. He's used it for himself. He had 1 lakh. The salary came 1 lakh. He used 40,000 for himself. Balance 60,000. He'll tell that CGST or SGST, any ratio, any proportion. Any ratio, any proportion. So IGST credit first will be used for IGST output, then for CGST or SGST output, any ratio, any proportion. Then if the family requires certain funds, who will come? If supposing that person's funds are over, 1 lakh is fully over, then who will come front to help the family? Mom or wife? Then comes your CGST. CGST, mom generally first will give to whom? That should be the story, correct? But what is happening? This mom has seen her son changing colors. Before marriage, he was always mom. After marriage, he is not giving due attention, isn't it? He has changed his colors. So mom also understands that I may have a problem in future. So it's not, mom's love is still unconditional, but mom has seen son's real face. Son's real face, and she is afraid of her future old age. So what she does? Okay, my mom's need are very limited. So what CGST will do? Will first, CGST input will be first used for CGST output. Then if there is balance, supposing mom has got 50,000 rupees and she requires 10,000 rupees. So CGST credit for CGST output. Balance 40,000. If there is a balance, that will be given to IGST. Supposing mom had 50,000. She required 10,000. Her son required say 20,000. Mom had 50,000. CGST credit first for CGST output. So 10,000 was reduced. Balance was 40. Then for IGST output, her son required 20,000. So out of 40, again 20,000 is reduced. So what will be the balance in CGST credit? 20,000. Whether mother-in-law will give to daughter-in-law? No. Clearly, CGST credit cannot be used for SGST output. CGST credit cannot be used for SGST output. And if the family requires more funds in a particular month, who will be the last person who will contribute? That will be wife of that guy or daughter-in-law of that particular mother-in-law. Right. So last in picture is wife. SGST. SGST credit. Who do you think she'll use first? For herself. So SGST input first used for SGST output. Then there's something called as mercy. Right. There's something called as love and there's something called as mercy. Right. She understands that this poor fellow has done for me so much. Right. Now, SGST credit first for SGST output. If there is a balance, supposing she is having 70,000, she requires 40,000. First, she'll use it for herself. So, SGST credit first for SGST output, 70,000 gets reduced to 30. Then, it will be given to IGST. SGST credit can be used for IGST output. Supposing her husband requires 10,000. Right. Totally, she had 70,000. She required 40, reduced to 30. Now, her husband requires 10, balance 20. Whether daughter-in-law will give to mother-in-law. So SGST credit cannot be used for CGST output. CGST output. This is a particular sequence. So always make your life simple. With the story, you can easily understand the sequence. You not remember the numbers and all. First, which credit? IGST credit. Will be used for what? IGST output, then CGST or SGST output, any ratio, any proportion. Then CGST credit will be first used for what? CGST output, then IGST output if there is a balance. Even after that, if there is a balance, CGST credit cannot be used for SGST output. Finally, SGST credit first for SGST output, then for, if there is a balance, it can be used for IGST output. Even if after using it for SGST output and IGST output in that sequence, even if that's a balance, SGST credit cannot be used for CGST output. CGST output. So this sequence we have understood, and in this entire story we have not touched compensation cess, because compensation cess input can be used only for compensation cess output. One on one. Compensation cess input can be used only for compensation cess output. Are we guys clear with this understanding? Now, let us try to understand examples. Supposing you have IGST output tax. First we are talking about output tax. IGST 7 lakhs, CGST 4 lakhs, SGST 4 lakhs. How much credit you have? 3 lakhs IGST, 6 lakh 50 CGST, 6 lakh 50 SGST. So when you are working your question, what will come is, this won't come. This is your input tax credit. Your gross output tax will start 7 lakh, 4 lakh, 4 lakh. Less input tax credit. This is actually availment. Now we are talking about utilization. Please make sure that you follow this pattern. In all the questions in your train your brain, this pattern is followed. So second step will not be, second step is the question step. So your output tax is 7 lakh, 4 lakh, 4 lakh. Now you are going to use your input tax credit. You are going to use your input tax credit. Make sure that you are always having the sequence. First you will be writing IGST credit, then CGST credit, then please follow this. There's no chance of making silly mistakes. You will not make that silly mistakes. First write IGST credit, utilization, then CGST credit, then SC credit. How much IGST credit you have? 3 lakhs. And how much IGST output you have? So this 3 lakhs will be fully used for IGST credit is fully used for IGST output. Do you have any balance credit? So IGST credit for IGST output. You don't have any balance, so you don't talk about IGST credit for CGST output or SGST output in any ratio, because you don't have any balance. Now, next credit that you will touch. CGST credit. How much you have? 6 lakh 50. And how much you have to pay CGST output? So first you will use CGST credit 4 lakh for CGST output. For CGST output. So how much balance payable you have? 0. Balance payable you have? 0. Right. Payable is 0. Right. How much balance payable of your IGST was that? This is the temporary answer. How much balance payable of CGST you have? How much balance payable of CGST? 0. How much is the balance credit? 2 lakh? 2 lakh? This is not the final answer. Now, CGST credit first for CGST output, then for IGST. How much balance is payable? How much balance IGST is payable? How much CGST credit you have? So you will use the entire 2,50,000 CGST credit for IGST output, which will make your balance credit in CGST 0, which will make the balance payable of IGST balance payable. Again, it is not the final answer. Now, finally, when your both the credits become 0, you will touch SGST credit. How much SGST credit you have? How much SGST credit you have? 6 lakh 50. How much is SGST payable? So first SGST credit is used for SGST output. You don't have any payable. How much extra credit you have? How much extra credit you have? 2,50,000. So now you have extra credit of SGST 2,50,000 and you have still balance payable of IGST. Can SGST credit be used for IGST output? Yes. So now balance portion You'll use SGST credit for IGST output, but IGST output balance is only 1,50,000. So your payable of IGST finally will become 0, and your credit of SGST will be reduced to. Do you have anything payable by cash in this example? No. You don't have anything payable by cash, and you have a balance of 1 lakh carry forward to the next month, but only of SGST credit. Only of SGST credit. Now what if I change the example and I tell that this is your this is your output tax and this is your input tax credit. What I'll do, first I'll use IGST input tax credit, then I'll use CGST input tax credit, finally I'll use SGST input tax credit. Same way. Now, how much is your IGST payable? How much is your IGST credit? So 6 lakhs will be fully used for. Understand that this would be in question but not in your answer. This line that I've cancelled in blue line, this would be in your question but not in your answer. 6 lakhs. So how much is balance payable? Balance payable is 1 lakh. Do you have any leftover credit? This is payable by cash. This is carry forward of credit. You don't have any carry forward of credit. So IGST credit for IGST output, you will stop there. You will stop there because you don't have any credit. Then you will touch what? CGST credit. How much CGST credit you have? 3,50,000. So 3,50,000 you will use it for CGST credit will be used for CGST output. CGST credit will be used for CGST output. Do you have any balance credit? But you still have balance payable of. You don't have any balance anything, so question of using it for others is not at all that. Then you will finally touch your SGST credit. How much SGST credit you have? 6,50,000. How much payable? Now you may wonder how my CGST credit and SGST credit are different. From that carry forward it may be different. Normally when I am taking the credit of CGST and SGST, it will be the same. Now one may ask a question, how can I have CGST credit and SGST credit different? Because of in that month credit will be the same, but carry forward, when I am talking about ITC, I am talking about ITC of the current month plus the opening balance. ITC of the current month plus the opening balance. Now, coming back to the utilization, how much credit I have? 6,50,000. How much I have to pay? So 4 lakhs is the payable. My payable will become 0. I have extra credit of SGST which is 2,50,000. Now, can I use SGST credit for IGST output if there is balance? Yes. How much is IGST payable? So SGST credit first will be used for SGST output. Balance it will be used for. As my IGST output balance is only 1 lakh, I will use only 1 lakh. Now suddenly my IGST will become 0. And what is the balance credit? I still have balance 1,50,000. Balance 1,50,000 credit in my SGST. And I have payable of. Can I use it? I cannot. So in this example you find that you pay something by cash ledger. You are paying something by cash ledger. CGST is you are paying by cash ledger in spite of the fact that you are having credit of 1,50,000. 1 lakh. Are we clear with this understanding? Are you guys clear with this understanding? Now let us take here example 3. A different example. All the examples are very different from each other. Right. Now I can directly focus on these numbers because you know what is given there. What would be the first thing? First thing is your output tax. Then you have input tax credit. Then you have using IGST input tax credit. Then you have using CGST input tax credit. Then you have using SGST input tax credit. Here you have balance output tax payable by cash. Here you have carry forward of balance credit. Carry forward of balance credit. What is your SGST credit? Sorry, what is your IGST credit? 2 lakhs. How much is payable IGST? Now for the first time here, you have only 7 lakhs payable. So IGST credit for IGST output. IGST credit for IGST output. Your IGST output becomes 0, but you have balance credit of 5 lakhs. Balance credit of IGST credit for IGST output. Then IGST credit can be used for CGST output, SGST output, any ratio, any proportion. Assume that I have fully used for CGST, making my IGST credit as 0. Assume. Right, which is not the right way. First, let us try to understand the problem here. I can use balance IGST credit after using it for IGST output against CGST output or SGST output, any ratio, any proportion. I have fully used for CGST output. Right, so my IGST input is now 0. Only when my IGST input becomes 0, I will move to CGST input. What is the CGST input I have? So, by the way, what is my balance CGST payable? 5 lakhs, because I use IGST credit of 5 lakhs. Now, what is my CGST credit that I have? 6 lakh 50. And how much is balance payable? How much is balance payable? 5 lakhs. So, though I have credit of 6 lakh 50, I will be using only 5 lakhs because IGST credit was already used for CGST output. Right. Now, my balance payable will become 0 and I have balance of 1,50,000 credit. So I have balance of CGST credit. CGST credit is used for CGST output. It can be thereafter used for IGST output, but IGST output has become 0. And if there is any balance, can it be used for SGST output? No. So I will have this figure fixed. And then move to SGST credit. What is my SGST credit? 9 lakh. SGST credit will be used for SGST output. My full credit gets 0 here. I will have balance of 1 lakh payable by cash. Because I did not properly use my credit, I have SGST 1 lakh payable by cash in spite of the fact that in CGST I have some credit. This is a very wrong scenario. I have some credit, but I am paying something by cash. I have some credit, but I am paying something by cash. Could this have been avoided? Yes. It cannot be avoided in all cases, but in this example, yes. Same numbers. What should I have done? This is my output tax, this is my input tax credit. I am using my IGST credit first, then I will touch my CGST credit, then I will touch my SGST credit. And whatever balance is there, I have to pay by cash ledger and I have to check whether there is any carry forward of credit ledger. What is my IGST credit available? 2 lakhs. So IGST credit, what is my IGST payable? First I will use IGST credit for IGST output, making IGST output 0, balance 5 lakh credit is there. Now, what do you think is the ideal way of using the balance IGST credit? Balance IGST credit can be used for CGST output or SGST output, any ratio, any proportion. So, how should I use it?
We have to use the credit of CGST or CGST.
You cannot touch the credit of CGST without exhausting IGST credit. Don't forget that. You cannot touch the CGST credit without exhausting. You cannot do it. Correct? First, I have to make my IGST credit 0. Only then I can touch my CGST credit.
So that's for 3,50,000 we can take.
What you are going to take?
For CGST output, to the extent of 3,50,000 we can take from this file.
Okay.
Then remaining we can take it.
I'll go with her just because there's a difference. You're telling that we'll go with 3,50,000 here, and balance I have 1,50,000 here. I can use in any ratio, any proportion. I'll just go with her and tell you what is the problem. There may be not a problem in this current month. There will be a problem in the next month. There will be a problem in the next month. I'll just go with this answer because I can use my IGST, balance IGST credit for CGST output, SGST output in any ratio, any proportion. Now, I'll come to what will be my balance payable of CGST? 6,50,000. How much credit of CGST I have? So, full 6,50,000 credit will be used. I will not have any. First of all, my IGST credit has become 0. I will not have any CGST payable, and I will not have any credit of CGST. Now, IGST credit I have, sorry, SGST credit I have 9 lakh, SGST payable is, so I'll use this 9 lakh SGST credit for SGST payable. My payable in cash will become 0. I'll have a balance of 1 lakh credit carried forward. 1 lakh credit carried forward. Okay, I'm sorry. My payable was, just a second, the moment I should have done this in first step. The moment I used 3,50,000, my payable of CGST became 6,50,000. The moment I used 1,50,000, my payable became 8,50,000. Now I have credit of 9 lakh, but I have to pay only 8,50,000. So how much credit I'll use? 8,50,000. So my final payable will become 0, but I have carry forward of credit of 50,000. So for this month I will not have a problem. Why? My payable and cash is all 0. But if I go to next month, I will have extra SGST credit, which may cause a problem. I am not properly planning it. So rather ICA goes with this answer. If you write this answer for your institute, you will get full marks. Because we are concerned only with the current month payment. But ideally speaking, you should even think of next month. Your attempt or your try should be to make sure that if at all there is any carry forward, to the extent possible, it's not always possible, to the extent possible, let us have the carry forward in CGST credit and SGST credit. CGST credit and SGST credit, same. CGST credit and SGST credit. How was this possible? Rather than using 3,50,000, if I would have said that after using, I am reworking that answer. After using IGST credit for IGST output full 7 lakhs, I had balance credit of 5 lakhs. This is all based on trial and error. You have to do your mind working. If I would have used 3,75,000 for CGST and balance 1,25,000 for your SGST credit, a small working in your mind will give you the correct answer. My balance payable in CGST would have become 6,25,000, and here it would have become 8,75,000. Correct. Then my credit in IGST becomes 0. My credit in IGC becomes, I'll touch my CGST credit. What is my CGST credit? 6,50,000. How much? What is my balance CGST payable? 6,25,000. So I'll use that. I'll use that because my payable now will become 0, but I'll have a carry forward of 25,000. What is my CGST credit is exhausted. I'm going to, my CGST credit is not exhausted. I have balance because that is a planning done, but I cannot use my CGST credit for SGST output. So I have to stop that. CGST credit first for CGST output, then for IGST output, but it cannot be used for, I cannot use this 25,000 for SGST output. I don't have an option. I have to go to the next step. SGST credit. How much I have? 9 lakh. What is payable? 875. So I'll use 8,75,000 SGST credit and make the payable 0. What was my credit? 9 lakh. What I have used? 875. What is the balance? 25,000. Now also my payable in cash is 0, but my carry forward of credit to the next month is in such a way that next month I may not face a problem. Okay, I'll give a very small date of next month. Next month you don't have any input tax credit. Your CGST payable and SGST payable is 25,000 each. You'll use this 25,000 each and you'll not pay anything by cash ledger. If I were to go with the understanding that I had in the previous case, my CGST credit was 0, but SGST credit was 50,000. Next month, think a very simple question. I don't have any credit. I have only credit carry forward. I don't have that any credit. And my payable was CGST 25, SGST 25. I had to pay CGST 25 by cash. Though SGST I will not pay anything by cash, but I have to pay CGST fully by cash in spite of having some credit in SGST. Why? I did not plan for my previous one properly. I did not plan for my, just think this, if I were going with this understanding and next month I have CGST output, SGST output, 25,000 each. If I did not do planning properly, I will pay CGST fully by cash. Obviously SGST by cash will be 0 and still I will have a balance of SGST credit 25,000 carry forward. But if I do planning properly, I need not pay anything by cash. Because my payable in the next month is CGST 25, SGST 25. I have credit of CGST 25, SGST 25. I need not pay anything by cash. Obviously, when institute is expecting answer, it is not expecting this particular answer. They are only concerned with the current month. But ideally, you should work out in such a way, to the extent possible, that your cash payment in this month is 0, as well as if at all there is any carry forward of credit, to the extent possible, make CGST carry forward and SGST carry forward of credit equal, to the extent possible. Right? And if the trial and error is taking a lot of time, you just be, for your exam, you just be worried about the current month payment in cash. Current month payment in cash. That is everything about your utilization of credit.